Hi boys and girls, this is your Language Arts e-learning lesson for Wednesday, May 13th. We're going to start with grammar, reviewing adjectives or adverbs. That's page 252, adjective or adverb. Many adverbs are formed by an ly to an adjective. These words look similar and are easy to confuse. Be careful to use them correctly in a sentence. So, Robert writes clear. Well, that would be incorrect because the word clear is actually an adjective. Remember that adjectives describe nouns. Adverbs describe verbs. What we want to say is we want to tell how Robert writes. Writes is a verb. And so we then need to have an adverb to describe the verb and not an adjective. So we wouldn't say that Robert writes clear. We would say Robert writes clearly. Okay, clearly. How does he write? Clearly. Remember to use an adjective to describe a noun or a pronoun and use an adverb to describe a verb. Lee made quick moves. Okay, quick is describing the moves that he or she made. Quick is an adjective. The adverb would be she moves quickly. How does she move? Quickly. Now you need to also remember that adverbs answer the question how, when, or where. Okay, we just had reviewed that. So remember that adverbs will answer the questions how, when, or where. So the verb is moves, and so you ask yourself, well, how does she move? Quickly. Okay, that's an adverb, quickly. The next part. The words good and well are also often confused. Good is always an adjective. You use good before a noun or after a linking verb. Do not use good when you mean healthy. Sam has a good vocabulary. We're using good to describe his vocabulary. Good vocabulary, a good job. It was a good story. We had a good time. Every time we use good to describe a noun, remember that is an adjective. And his stories are good. We're using good after that linking verb. Okay, the linking verb is are, so we say his stories are good. We use well as an adverb to describe a verb, but we also use well as an adjective when we mean healthy. So as an adverb, Sam describes buildings well. How does he describe them? He describes them well. So you can see that it is used as an adverb. And then because Todd ate too fast, he is not well now. Whenever we're referring to someone's health, we use well. That is your adjective. Okay? I do not feel well. He is not well now. All right, let's take a look down at bottom. Okay, which word in parentheses correctly completes each sentence? Which word does it describe? So number one, the ballet company performed how? How did they perform? They performed well. The dancers' movements were graceful. The star ballerina spun rapidly on her toes. The audience clapped loudly at the end. So again, how did the audience clap? Loudly. When you can answer that question, how, when, or where, you have an adverb. And remember, the adverb describes the verb. So here, the audience clapped. How did they clap? Loudly. Loudly as an adverb. The star ballerina spun. How did she spin? She spun rapidly. Rapidly is an adverb. The dancers' movements were, we have that linking verb, were. The dancers' movements were what? Were graceful. What's graceful? What's graceful? Okay, the dancers' movements. We're describing their movements. Movements are nouns. So if graceful is describing the noun, graceful is an adjective. Okay? All right, now today I want you to complete workbook page 126. Okay, it's a little challenging, but there are only four 4 little activities for you to do. Okay, let's take a look. It says, where are we at? Here we go. The last names of some courageous people are hidden in the sentences below. Circle each last name and write the full name on the line. Then complete each pair of sentences. Write an adjective to complete the first sentence, and then complete the second sentence with an adverb that is made by adding ly to the adjective. Let's look at the example. Rosa. Okay, so now that means that you're looking for someone named Rosa. Rosa who? And obviously these are famous people we're looking at. So we're looking for a famous person named Rosa, and her last name is hidden somewhere in the very first sentence. Rosa was tired from walking all the way from the park, so she sat in the first seat she could find on the bus. Okay, she was tired from walking all the way from the park, so she sat in the first seat she could find on the bus. Her last name is Parks. It was hidden over here, P-A-R-K-S. So that was circled. And then on this first blank, you write her name, Rosa Parks. Now you're going to look for an adjective you can use. Rosa was what? And so you're looking for a word to describe the kind of person she was. So Rosa was courageous, or maybe you would say Rosa was brave. And then it says she worked blank for civil rights. Worked is a verb, so the word you're going to be using here is going to be an adverb. And they did tell us in the directions that we were going to form an adverb from the adjective that we used. So Rosa was courageous. She worked courageously for civil rights. If you used brave, Rosa was brave. She worked bravely for civil rights. All right, so you have 1 to 4. Number 1 is about a famous Paul. His last name is hidden in here. Number 2 is Florence, a famous Florence. Her last name is hidden in here. Number 3, famous Harriet, and her last name is hidden in here. And number 4, a famous Neil, and his last name is hidden in here. So for each of these, you read that first sentence, you look for the person's last name hidden within that sentence, and then on that first line, even though it's a really long blank, on that first line, all you're doing is writing the person's first name and last name. So number 1, we know the person is Paul, so you're going to have Paul, and then when you figure out what his last name is, you'll write his last name. And then again, you're going to use an adjective to describe, in this case, the night. The night was what? And then once you have an adjective here, then you're going to change it and use an adverb that makes sense here. All right? So again, the person's first name is already given in the sentence. Their last name is hidden within the sentence. You need to find it. Write both their first and last name on that first blank. And then after that, you're using an adjective, and then you're using an adverb made from that adjective. Again, make sure your answers make sense. Okay, just 4 sentences. That's all you need to do here. All right, in addition to your grammar today, you have Wordly Wise. Wordly Wise is the lesson 15 test, which you do on Quizlet, and I've sent you that link. So make sure you take your Wordly Wise test. And then you have Spelling City. Today you'll be working on the Unscramble. Okay, so that's the Unscramble and Spelling City. And for reading, since we have finished reading Yellow Fever, you will begin to work on the test that I sent you. Take your time with that. Please make sure where you need to answer in complete sentences, you are answering in complete sentences. And where you have fill in the blank, make sure then you are filling in the blank. When you're using the names that have been given, make sure that you're spelling them correctly, copying them correctly. Okay? All right, and again, if you have any questions on anything that you're working on today, please make sure you reach out to me so that I can help you. Okay? All right, have a good day.